Is everyone ready? I hope you can hear this. Please find a comfortable seated position. Letting your hands rest on your knees. And when you're ready, gently close your eyes. We're going to start with our yogi breath for today's class. So breathing in deep into your stomach, into your chest, and then out through the nose. Into the stomach and the chest, and out to the nose. And keep repeating this breath, concentrating on it, feeling how it goes through your nose, into the stomach, into the chest, and back out. In today's class, we will be focusing on flexibility. It will be no standing, everything down on the mat, deep hip openers and working on the hamstrings. But just keep focusing on your breath. This is what will help in these painful flexibility positions that we will be doing later on. Breathing in and out. Connect to your body, how it's feeling right now. Where are you tight? Where are you sore? Maybe you want to move a little bit. Maybe sitting still is not so good for you and you want to move your back or your hands. Connect with the breath and your body. Deep inhale to the stomach and the chest and back out. And when you're ready, we'll place our hands forward and we'll come into our first child's pose. Knees can either be together for a stretch in the back or knees apart and feet together for a hip stretch. Keeping your arms straight, elbows off the ground in our child's pose. Balasana. And we have Hannah here today to help us with the adjustments. So if you're not feeling it today and won't like to be adjusted, please place your hand on the back so Hannah can know. Thank you, everyone. From here, you can sway from side to side, just stretching the sides of the back. Elbows can be on the ground to rest or off the ground for a deeper stretch. Now pushing your hips forward, chest down. We'll go into our first baby cobra. Lying flat down, hands next to the chest, and just pushing up a little bit. Shoulders back, engaging the core and the back, just to get the back warmed up. From here, you can also snake from side to side. And we'll push back into our child's pose. Knees either together for a lower back stretch or apart, wide for a hip opener. Again, you can sway from side to side, just to open up the sides of the body, whatever feels good to you. And again, we'll push our hips up, chest down, into another baby cobra. Hands on the side of the chest and pushing up. And back into our child's pose. The class may seem repetitive today, but everything we're doing is just to make sure that our body is warmed up enough, to make sure that we're keeping our spine safe, and that we're ready to go into the deep stretches that we'll do later on. And sending your hips up, chest down into another baby cobra. Maybe this time you can go a bit higher. Maybe your back is a bit warmer now. You can also snake from side to side. Whatever feels good to you. If you can push up to cobra from here, then we will. Keeping the shoulders back, micro bend in the elbows, chest up. And we can start to look from over one shoulder and look to the other side. You can move your hips as you do this to get a deeper stretch. And sending it back to child's pose. Deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale and exhale. Again, we'll push up to a cobra, so our hips go down, chest up, shoulders back, micro bend in the knees. And look over your right shoulder, moving your hips, and the left. And back to the right, and the left. And pushing back into child's pose, finding a rest here. Taking a few deep breaths. From here, we'll push up to tabletop position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees hip width apart, and we'll start with cat-cow, but starting small. So small round in the back, and dropping it down just a little bit, just to warm up the back, and back up, and down. And the more times you do it, maybe you can hunch more, and drop lower. Shoulders back and a micro bend in the elbows. Doing what feels good to you. Rounding up and back down. And from here, if you'd like, we can go into spine circles. So again, rounding up and down and just going around in circles. Whatever feels good for you. And if we did it one way, we can circle back the other way, opening up the back and getting it nice and warm. We can take our right hand up to thread the needle. Deep inhale and exhale as you thread the needle under the arm. Weight goes on your shoulder. Looking over to the right arm. And back up. Inhale, look up, stretch, and exhale, back down. Stretching the side of the shoulder. And we can go back up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So right hand comes down, left hand comes up. We inhale to look up and exhale to thread the needle. And on the inhale, come back up. Lift the left arm up, looking up at the sky, and exhale, thread the needle once again. And coming back up into our tabletop position, hands underneath the shoulders. We'll start with our bird dogs. So right arm and left leg meet in the middle. Opposite knee to opposite elbow. And we'll do 5 times on each side. Make sure to keep your spine straight. And in and out. Inhale and exhale. And back down. We'll do the same on the other side. Left arm to right knee and meeting in the middle, keeping the back straight and the core engaged. And 5 times on this side. Breathing in as you bring the elbow to the knee and out as you extend. And one last time, in and out, back to all fours, back to cat and cow, rounding out the spine, and dropping to cow. Again, you can do spine circles or keeping the cat-cow, whichever feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, you can find relaxation in child's pose, either knees together or apart. If you want a hip stretch or a lower back stretch. And we'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. And from here, we'll go to our first downward dog. So raising the hips up high. Micro bend in the elbows, small bend in the knees, lengthening the back, and just feel the stretch in the hamstrings. You can start to walk your dog, so bending one knee at a time and pushing the other tail to the ground. We're preparing the hamstrings. So just walking your dog, or you can also bend both knees, keeping the back straight, bringing the chest to the knees. Or still bending one leg at a time, whichever feels good for you. We'll lift the right leg up and bend the knee. We'll start with hip circles. So twisting one way, opening up the hip. And reverse the direction, twisting back the other way. And when you're ready, bring your right foot between your hands, and we're going into our low lunge. So left knee stays on the ground, right knee is on top of the ankle at a 90-degree angle, and feeling the stretch in your left hip flexor. And we hold. If you need to use blocks on the sides, please feel free to take them. And remember to keep your yogi breath throughout this practice, concentrating on the breathing as we're stretching the hips. Making sure your hips stay aligned. We'll push back into our first hamstring stretch, so keeping the front foot where it is, flexing the foot, and placing the hands as far as you can to feel the stretch in the hamstrings. Again, if you need to use blocks, you're more than welcome to. It will help with the stability. And if you're feeling extra tight, you can try to move the foot around, just drawing circles. Drawing circles one way and the other. And we'll push back into our low lunge. So right knee above the right ankle and stretching the left hip flexor. And we'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale. And on the exhale, we push back into our hamstring stretch. Foot is flexed and engaged. And again, if you're feeling it, you can circle around with the foot. And back into our low lunge. Maybe you feel this time you can go a bit deeper. Maybe the left hip flexor is starting to get loosened. If you do go deeper, remember to keep your right knee above the right ankle and not going further forward. And don't forget to keep your yogi breath throughout this practice. We will be holding poses for longer than usual, just to get a bit of a deeper stretch, to really open up the hips. And inhale, and on the exhale, back to our hamstring stretch. Foot is flexed. Maybe this time you can reach your hands a bit further forward. If this feels good to you, you may do this. Or even holding the foot. Yes, like Lydia. And we'll go back forward into our lunge. This time taking both the hands in between the foot into our lizard. So you can stay up here or you can use blocks if this helps you. And we'll start to bend the knee out. So letting the right knee just fall out a little bit, letting the right foot also roll off a little bit. You can start to go back and forth here. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, we can go into our monkey twist. So keeping this knee rolling out and the foot rolling out, I will start to also roll onto my left side, onto my left leg. You should feel a nice deep stretch in the right glute, the right hip, and also the left hip flexor or the left side of the body. And you can alternate back and forth between the lizard and the monkey twist. And if it helps you, you can also place your elbows down. So going from lizard to our monkey twist. Don't be afraid to let the right foot roll a little bit. That's okay. And just going as far as it's comfortable for you. From here, we'll go back into our low lunge, taking the right foot to the side and going into our pigeon pose. Please find a position that is comfortable for you, as we will hold this pose for about a minute. You can either stay up high, high pigeon, on your elbows, or lying down. And if this is not comfortable for you, you can also take the mermaid's pose as a modification, just holding the back foot. Making sure your hips stay aligned in this position. Slowly lift yourself back up into a high pigeon. Remove the blocks in front of you and the bolsters. From here, we'll go into a 90-90 position. So taking the left foot, left knee in, sitting like so. And when you're ready, we can start windmilling the knees from side to side. You should feel this in your hips. You can put your hands behind you for stability. And just going slowly back and forth. Rotating the sides. We'll do this a few more times. And finishing with the right foot behind, placing both hands in front of you. Imagine there's a string pulling the foot up. Stay with your hands in front of you and keeping your hips straight and not moving. Just try to lift your foot up. And if you can't go high, even if it's just an inch off the ground, that's okay. Just trying to use your strength to lift the foot up. And we'll do this a few times. That's good. And twisting back around again, windmilling the knees. Right foot is in front, going back into our pigeon pose. And we'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. Again, either a high pigeon, on the elbows, or lying down, or taking a mermaid's pose if you'd like a modification. And from here we can go back up into our high pigeon, taking the left foot and pushing it back into a child's pose. Maybe you would like to have your knees together for a lower back stretch, or if you want to keep the hips stretched, then you can widen your knees. And you can let your elbows on the ground to rest if you'd like. And we'll hold this for 5 deep breaths before we go back to the left side and do this again. Pushing your hips up and going into a downward dog. Micro bend in the elbows, back is lengthened, bend in the knees, And you can start to walk your dog again. Maybe you're feeling the right hamstring is a bit looser now. We'll take our left foot up to the sky, bending the knee, and starting with our hip circles. So circling the knee one way to open up the hip, and we can go the other direction with the circles. And when you're ready, take your left foot between your hands, place it down. We're going into our low lunge. Left knee is above the ankle at 90 degrees, feeling the stretch in the right hip flexor. Blocks can be used on the sides if you need it for support, and we'll hold this pose for 5 deep breaths. Don't be afraid to let gravity push down your right hip, keeping your hips aligned and the knee right on top of the ankle. And we'll go back to our hamstring stretch, pushing your hips back, flexing the left foot. And if you're feeling tight, you can go again for the feet circles and blocks on the sides if you need it for support. The further forward your hands go, the deeper the stretch, so just go wherever is comfortable for you. You can rock your foot back and forth and back into our low lunge. Knee above the ankle at 90 degrees. Hands on the sides for support and pushing into the right hip flexor. And inhale and exhale. As we're taking the practice slow today, don't forget to focus on your breathing. Just how we started the class, keep concentrating on your breathing. This will help get through some of these painful poses. As I'm sure, like my hips, I'm sure many of yours are also tight as well. And we can go back into our hamstring stretch. Maybe this time your hands can go a bit further forward, keeping the foot flexed and doing small circles with it if you need to. And back to our low lunge. Coming forward. Maybe this time you can go a bit deeper into the stretch. And back to our hamstring stretch one last time. Feeling the stretch in your hamstrings, in your calf. And we can go forward into our low lunge. Going into lizard, so taking your hands in between your foot. If you need to use blocks to help you, you may. And just going deep into the stretch. Maybe you can bring your elbows down. We'll start to push the knee out. So just pushing it to the side. You can use your hand too. You want to go a bit deeper. And if this is too much on your wrist, again, you can place the elbow on the ground. And just going in and out, letting the left foot roll a little bit. And when you're ready, we'll go into our monkey twist. So again, I'm letting the knee roll out, letting the foot roll out. I'm twisting onto my right side, feeling the stretch in the left glute, the left hip, the right side of my body, and the right hip flexor. And just alternating back and forth slowly between the lizard and the monkey twist. Again, maybe having your elbows down will help. And just going back and forth. Really opening up the right hip flexor and the left glute. And coming back up to lizard and into our low lunge, we'll take the left foot to the side and going to our pigeon pose. We'll hold this for a minute, so please use any props that you may need to make this more comfortable for you. You can have a high pigeon on your elbows or lying down. And again, a mermaid's pose can always be taken if you need a modification. Making sure your hips stay aligned in this pose. You might need a pillow under here. Yes. That's good. If you want, you can use a pillow to make it like a bit more clean here. Yes. Slowly coming up from our pigeon pose, removing any props. Again, we'll go into our 90-90 position, so taking the right knee in. Both the legs are bent. And when you're ready, we can start swinging the knees from side to side. So, just going from side to side, feeling the opening of the hips. Hands can be behind you for support. We'll do this a few more times. And when you're ready, make sure your left foot stays in the back. Hands go in front of you, keeping the hips aligned. Imagining that there's a string pulling your foot up high and back down. And we'll do this a few times. And we'll twist back around. Left foot goes back in front, going back into our pigeon pose. Again, using any blocks if needed. Maybe this time you can go a bit deeper into the stretch. Slowly come back up from your pigeon pose. Remove any props and going back into our child's pose to take a rest. Either knees together for a lower back stretch or knees wide, feet together for a hip stretch. Elbows can go down if you'd like to relax, or staying up high for a stretch. And remembering to breathe. Deep inhale and exhale. And inhale. And with the next exhale, we'll push back up into our tabletop position. And from here, we'll go into malasana, so yogi squat. If you can sit down and just bring your feet in front. If you can't go down, or if your heels don't reach, you can use blocks underneath your heels for support, or a block to just sit on, using your elbows to push the knees out, hands to the heart, and we hold. Breathing in and out. And in and out. From here we go to our Skandasana, side squat. So at first maybe you won't be able to get your heel on the ground, and that's okay. We're going from side to side. And if you need blocks to help you, please feel free to use them. Starting from one side and switching to the other, using your hands in front of you for support. We'll stretch a bit of the inner thighs first. So again, switching sides, flexing the feet, and back to the other side. If you want a little bit of a challenge, no hands, switching sides. And maybe this time your heel can reach the ground. And back to the other side. And again. To the other side. And meeting in the middle, back to our yogi squat. Malasana. Again, elbows can push on the knees out, back straight, chest up, hands to the chest. And remember to breathe. You can put your hands down, butt down, and legs go straight in front. Let's shake them out. Sitting high on the sitting bones, maybe you're taking the flesh a bit out. Back is engaged, core is straight. Hands go up, and we're going down into our forward fold. Breathing in and exhale, keeping the back straight and reaching forward. Holding wherever feels comfortable for you. Maintaining a straight back. Feet are flexed, feeling the stretch in the hamstrings. Paschimottanasana. And we'll hold for 5 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. And maybe you find with every exhale you can go just a little bit deeper into the stretch. From here we can come back up, opening the feet as wide as you can while still sitting straight, flexing the feet. We'll inhale with hands going up And exhale, reaching forward. If you need to use blocks or anything to sit on to help you, please feel free. We want to keep our feet flexed, our hamstrings engaged, back is straight, and reaching as forward as you can. We'll stay here for 5 deep breaths. From here, we can start going from side to side. So going first to our right side. Maybe you can reach the foot, maybe it's just the shin. And going back to the left side. So going from the middle, reaching our hands over to the left side. Breathing in. And on the exhale, going back to the right side. Hands walking through the middle and to the side to hold. And inhale. On the exhale, going back to the left side. You should be facing the left leg and just holding where you feel is comfortable. We can come back up. Feet go together in front. And again, shake them out. And from here, we'll go into our boat pose, Navasana. So, knees come up, feet come up, keeping the back straight, core is engaged. You can have your hands on the ground for support if needed, but you can go down on your elbows as well. But we'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. In and out. And we'll put our elbows on the ground. From here, we can go into bicycles. So, one leg straighten at a time, keeping the core and the back engaged. Back is still straight. Elbows are just here for support. And straightening one leg at a time. And when you're ready, slowly go back one vertebrae at a time to lying down. Legs can relax. Hands down. And take 5 deep breaths here. We have reached our cool down stage. So just taking a rest here for a moment. Feel how your body feels. How your hips feel. Maybe they're a bit looser now. Taking both the knees to the chest, holding them with your hands, pushing your knees towards your hands and your hands towards your knees to create this tension. And you can start to rock from side to side. Wind release pose. Giving yourself a nice back massage, taking your time, slowly rolling from one side to the other. From here, you can take your hands to your feet, grabbing your big toe with your index fingers and pushing down into our happy baby. And do whatever your happy baby wants to do. You can roll from side to side or you can stay still. Whatever feels good for you. And we can let our legs go back down to the mat. Legs go down flat, and we can shake them out once again. Just giving them a nice shake. Taking the right knee to the chest, hugging it with both our hands, and we can start to circle the knee into our hand. Again, you should feel this in the hip, just some nice circles with the knees. And we go to the other direction with the circles, going back around. And when you're ready, grab the right knee with the left hand, pulling the right knee to the left side, shoulders stay on the ground, looking over your right hand. If your knee can't come down all the way, that's okay. The shoulders should stay on the ground. I'm feeling a nice stretch here. We'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. And inhale. On the exhale, we take the right knee back. Right leg goes back down, and we shake both the legs. Now taking the left knee into your chest, hugging with both the hands, and we'll start to go around with circles. Knee circles, going in one way. And we'll go back around the other direction. When you're ready, grabbing the left knee with the right hand, taking it to the right side, shoulders stay on the ground, looking over to your left arm. And we hold this pose for 5 deep breaths. Using a bolster if needed to catch your knee. And inhale and exhale. And inhale, and with the next exhale, take your knee back. Both legs can go flat on the mat. And shaking the legs out. Now we'll go into our banana asana. So taking the right foot over the left foot, crossing it over. Hands can meet on the top of our hands, stretching up, and just twisting over to the left side. So taking the feet to the left side and taking the hands to the left side, getting a nice big stretch in the right side of your body. We'll hold this pose for 5 deep breaths. And we can come back to center. Undo your legs. We'll do the same on the other side. So left foot goes on top of the right. Taking it to the right side, taking your hands to the right side. And a nice big stretch in the left side of your body. We'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. And back to center, undoing your legs. Feet can go down on the mat. Right foot over the left knee into our reclined figure 4 pose. You can bring your left knee with both your hands. If you would like a deeper stretch, your left hand can stay on the left knee, and the right hand can go on the right knee to push it outward. This will create a deeper stretch in the right hip. And we'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. and back down. Undoing the right foot, we'll do the same on the other side. Left foot goes over the right knee, pulling the right knee towards you. And again, if you'd like a deeper stretch, right hand can stay on the right knee, and left hand can go to the left knee, pushing it outwards. We'll hold this for 5 deep breaths. When you're ready, you can let your feet go down and finding a comfortable position for Shavasana. If you need to use any props or bolsters, please feel free to take them. And just let your body relax, letting your mind relax. I will come around to do adjustments. If you would like to not have an adjustment, please place your hand on your tummy so I can know. And just relax in your body. When you're ready, you can slowly find movement back in your body, starting with the toes and the fingers, maybe moving the legs a little bit and the arms. And slowly taking your time, we can go back up to a comfortable seated position. When you're ready, taking the left and right hand into the heart center. Deep inhale and exhale. Now inhaling for one log inhale. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining my class.